What's up, fish tank people? Dustin's Fish Tanks bringing it to you on a Sunday, baby. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're going to talk about aquarium filtration. I'm going to talk about mechanical filtration in your aquarium. I'm going to talk more heavily on biological filtration. We're going to skip chemical filtration. I'm going to show you a couple examples of a couple of different types of filters for the plain Jane common man Aquarius, and I'm also going to show you 1, 2, 3 amazing fish rooms and how they filter and do water changes in their aquariums. Okay, well, first I want to define some of the things that an aquarium filter does. First and foremost, an aquarium filter will actually remove particulates from the actual aquarium that you have and house it in the back in the mechanical and other parts of the back part of the filtration. Beyond that, an aquarium filter will also do a nice job of stirring up your aquarium, if you will. You want enough water flow that it's able to move particles around and not have any dead spots in your aquarium. And just as an aside, those of you struggling with algae, sometimes, in addition to too much light and too much excess nutrients, the lack of water flow is a problem and can cause algae in your aquarium. Everything can sit in one spot. Sometimes you see this with Anubias. Anubias grows slowly. It grows slowly. There's not enough water flow. The algae will grow on top of the Anubias. Let's stick here with water flow for a second. Let's talk about gas exchange. Let's go roll over to the trusty whiteboard and do a little diagram of how this is going to go. And one of the big benefits that I think is often overlooked with most filtration, and that is removal of debris and surface skim on the top of your water. And I learned this from my guy, Brian. The first thing that this does for you is it helps with gas exchange. You want as much gas exchange, gas surface turbulation leaving your water. What else does having turbulence at the surface of your water do? I will tell you. And it involves something right here. It involves lighting. This, folks, is your purple 20-gallon high. You have a not so great light on top of it. If you have cloudy or not so clear water because of poor filtration, your light can only get a little bit down, leaving our beloved plants down here. Those are what your plants look like. Our beloved plants down below, deprived and lacking light. Conversely, if you have a good, well-filtered aquarium, the light can get all the way down to our plants. You see, good gas exchange at the surface of your aquarium not only helps with good gas exchange, but it also helps the light penetrate deeper to the bottom of your aquarium. We've talked about mechanical filtration. Now it's time to talk about an overlooked thing. Let's talk about biological filtration. I want to show the stages of this. This is the mechanical stage filter pad for an AquaClear. I think this is a 110. It's the big brother of this AquaClear little guy right here. These come with a pouch like this. You put this at the bottom. So the mechanical filtration starts at the bottom. Obviously this sponge is significantly smaller for this one. But that one only goes so far. You have to have what filters do. And this is the part where the rubber meets the road. This separates the rookies from the pros. It's when you get involved in the biological filtration in your aquarium. You've seen bio balls, you've seen the little ceramic balls that come with your filter. This is the part that takes time. We shift from more of like a air filter in a car type mentality to a Mother Nature flow type mentality where we're actually using beneficial bacteria to filter in our aquariums. Let me explain. So I was trying to think to myself, like, what's a unique way I can emphasize the importance of beneficial bacteria in your filter? And I figured I would start by saying everybody realizes that when you're a beginner, you add fish too quickly, you kill fish quickly because there's not enough beneficial bacteria in both your filter and in your substrate. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. But I'm like, how can I highlight this for people and show them the importance of a biological filter? This, folks, is the biggest and best way I can show that to you. This is a 6-foot tall cylinder at the Newport Aquarium. This is the bio chamber for the Mekong tank. Think about this for a second. I ripped that tank down to its bare bones, scraped the bottom clean, added dirt, did the whole aquascape. Now, they were able to add fish very quickly to it because this giant tower had 15-year-old bacteria in it. I'm going to say that again. 15-year-old beneficial bacteria in a huge bacteria chamber. They were easily able to add both fish and, of course, we added plants back to that because the bio load was huge and established. Let me go on. You've heard about people who hardly do any water changes in their aquarium. Folks, straight up, I think those type of people are crazy, but maybe they are on to something. You've seen the old man that hardly ever does water changes in this thing. What's going on with that? Maybe, just maybe, those aquariums are entirely balanced. I've been to fish rooms, I'm going to show you in a second, where their aquariums are entirely balanced and their beneficial bacteria load, more importantly, is completely balanced. So maybe they don't have to do as much work with the water changes because they have enough of the Nitrosoma and Nitrospira bacteria available in their aquarium, keeping everything balanced. Let's stick with bacteria here for a second. I want to talk about bacteria. Yes, bacteria lives in your filter. This is a 20 high. Say you're filtering it with a little AquaClear hang-on back filter, whatever. Now notice, the filter itself is about this big, but look at all of this surface area down here. Look at the size difference between this right here and your little bit of a filter right here. It's my wonderful handwriting. Your filter right here, the size, I don't care if you have an oversized, let's say you have 2 of them, you still have much more surface area down here with the beneficial bacteria. I talk about it on webinars, I'm talking about it again. The substrate is the most overlooked part of your planted aquarium. The substrate is where your beneficial bacteria leaves. Up here, yes, you're gonna have some of it going on in your filters, but down here is where it really happens. And I wanna show you a clip from my man, Mr. Greg Sage out in Colorado. He runs his tanks basically bare bottom, with the exception in each one of his aquariums, he has about a handful of gravel. Why does he run just a handful of gravel? Because he needs just a handful of gravel in the bottom of all of his aquariums to keep everything balanced, because the beneficial bacteria lives on that gravel. Just as a quick aside, before I show you some of my favorite fish rooms and how they filter it, I'm gonna break it to you like this. In my humble opinion, if you're trying to run a filter on like anything, call it below a 40 gallon, 50 gallon, a little hang on back is gonna be the best way to go. Anything 40, 55, 75, 90, 125. I like the FX4s, FX6s. The big canister filters, there's been tons of videos on those. You can click links around here and see me putting an FX4 on an old 75 gallon. The canister filter is gonna give you more surface area and more rippling water current. One thing I wanna point out, I'm gonna show this more later. If you're looking for surface area, you cannot go wrong. They're ugly as heck, but they're great when it comes to the biological filtration. Look out for the sponge filters. The sponge filters do a lot of good. And with that said, I want to show you what some of the masters fish rooms I've seen and how they filter their tanks. One of the first fish rooms in the filtration involved that I want to talk about is my man, Mr. Chuck Raymer. He is part of the wonderful and super strong Maasai Club out in St. Louis, Missouri, along with Gary Don't Carry Lang. I've been to Chuck Raymer's house. Every single one of his aquariums has an air stone in it. Several of them have a giant sponge filter in there for that beneficial bacteria to live on. Chuck also does about 20% water per week. He runs sponges with air stones in every single one of them, and in a lot of his aquariums, he has fast growing plants because plants eat the nitrate, the end product of ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. Chuck Raymer stuff. Click the links around here, check out the full length of that video.
I want to take the water that's at the bottom,
right,
which is, if there's dirt that falls to the bottom, that's where ammonia is going to be produced. I want to move that water up here and give it a chance for ammonia to escape into the air. That's the first line of defense.
Okay.
Okay. So, or let it gas. And ammonia moves into the air very readily. So that will help. Then my second line of defense is I have a lot of sponge filters in most of my tanks.
Seen that.
And that's essentially a miniature version of the Matten filter, as an example. It acts as a bacterial bed. These have not been changed in a year in most cases.
Nice.
And so it's pulling the water through, and with some detritus out of the dirt, I mean out of the water.
Right.
And it traps it in there, and then the bacteria break it down, and then they will break it down into nitrite, and then nitrate, which is in the water.
The next two fish rooms I'm going to talk about, we're out in Colorado. One exists still today. One is sadly gone. It's my man, Mr. Bob Grauer. I was out there visiting back when he lived in Colorado. Love you, Bob. Got to come see you down in Florida. My man Bob had an amazing cichlid fish room. I was too obnoxious in the video. So I'm trying to break it down a little more simple for you all. He used sponge filters and air stone, and he used a system designed by Mr. Greg Sage, which is actually an overflow system. To do water changes, my man, all he has to do is turn a lever. He turns that lever, the water runs all the way down into a drain. It's a drain and fill system, and then to fill it, he reconnects a pipe, and that pipe runs back up, and as it fills this tank, and when that tank's full, it goes on to the next one, the next one, and the next one. We actually duplicated that with a slight modification in Greenhouse 1.0, and in a bit I'll show you what I got going on in 2.0 with an even better modification of that.
My good friend Greg Sage, he's great, loves a lot of valves and a master with PVC. We came in and we did half of this fish room. And how it's set up is they're set up at different levels to drain. Again, depending on the fish, how much water I want to drain out of there. So what happens is we set up the attachments that go right to my sink, and this way it can drain right out and I can fill it right in.
Wow.
And when it's not up, it goes away so that the floor is unencumbered. I really like it. It's easy. I can turn around, I can open the valves, and I know I'm not going to be able to drain it too low.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it's a walk away kind of thing. You can get away from it. It's easy on yourself. And then last but certainly not least, I want to talk about my man Jesse, who runs the Rocky Mountain Cichlid Association. They were kind enough to have me out there to speak a while back. Folks, it's all about water changes with my man. He runs giant sponges in all of his tanks. He's got the big beneficial bacteria in there, but then he's got standing pipes, and he has remote control water changes built with a very super tech system. I'll show you some of the highlights of it here, but totally love it.
Irrigation controller.
Okay.
You buy these at any irrigation
How much was that, you think?
It was probably 140 bucks.
Okay.
Yep. And it has capacity for 18 zones. I'm only running 12 right now, but in the future if I want to add. And it comes with this wireless remote.
Nice. I like it.
So it comes 3 zones per setup. So you can see 1 zone, 2, 3. So I've gone 3, 6, 9, 12.
Wow.
Okay, so each one of my tanks is labeled a different number.
Okay.
So if we go to tank number 11 here, it's a 125 with a wild colony of Samazi frontosa. I'll go, just for grins, I'll do a 2-minute water change on...
You just push to 2?
Push to 2, then I go on to 11, and almost like magic.
Wow. What'd you do to fill it? Just pressed 11?
Yes.
That's fill number 11.
Yep.
Ha!
So that water will run.
And that's already going through a dechlored system.
Yep.
We're already at temp because you got your mixing valve.
Yep.
Wow. I like it. While you're sitting here hanging out and pushing 2 buttons. That's pretty slick, man.
Folks, do me a favor, drop me a comment on your favorite type of filter for your favorite type of tank. Everybody making an awesome week, and tank on. Later.